Great to have you here. So, rolling right along, we're up to David Gibson. David, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. And I understand I'm going to enable you to do some screen sharing. So, it's over to you now.
Hello. Welcome, welcome. So, I'm David Gibson. I wrote the number one selling book in the world in sound healing, and also have the only sound healing college, real college, for 20 years now in Sausalito. And we do online classes. We have over 20 instructors. We also go into detail in all the different modalities, including tuning forks, in my book. Um, and We've got the Medical Sound Association now with over 1,000 doctors that meet bi-monthly to create treatment plans for a full range of issues. Let me show you here. Let's see. Oh, this is different. Hi, where's the screen? Okay, so I'm going to show the this. Okay, that should do it. Okay, you can see my screen now, right? So there's the Medical Sound Association. We've got uh, over about 30 different issues, but we've got a 30-page document on pain itself. So you can actually go in there and go through all the different types of pain. And we've got a detailed treatment plan that includes an overview of how it works and the overview of how you would approach it. And then we've got intake questions. We've got that you can ask people that have pain. We've got how to prepare for the session. We've got safety guidelines. If you got pain that's really bad, you don't put tuning forks right on it. You put it on both sides of it. So you got to be really careful. Also, I have to say, I've had two people that were where we put tuning forks on the head, and they couldn't get out of bed for a week. They were completely debilitated. So you got to be really careful with tuning forks on the head. I'm really scared after seeing those people not be able to move basically for a week. So you do have to be careful. But then we got the detailed treatments in a full range of treatments for all the different issues, including the pain. So you can find it at medicalsoundassociation.com is where all the treatments are, and Sound for Pain is you'll find there as well. Now, the basis of all sound healing, including working on pain, is the difference between chaotic vibrations and coherent, stable, consistent vibrations. You can think of chaos is like the sound of fear, or anxiety, or anger, or pain. And that's a chaotic waveform. And that is really not good for you. Even the sound of pain. God really kind of blew it here when when he or she came up with pain, because pain is good. It tells us there's something wrong we got to focus on. But now pain can be so bad that it's debilitating, as you well know, right? God went a little overboard on the pain deal, right? But the whole deal is to overcome it with stable, consistent vibrations. And that's what people have been talking about is the vowels. Any vowel is a stable, consistent vibration. And that would be like just creating a stable vibration. It could be a crystal bowl, could be a Tibetan bowl, those any drone. Could be tuning forks. Just about all sound healing instruments are mostly drones, and that creates a stable, consistent vibration. Even a drum, if you create a stable, consistent rhythm, that can also entrain you out of the chaos of the pain. So that's the basis of it all. But then it gets down to the actual frequency of the pain. Now, I'm here to tell you, because I'm kind of like the frequency master uh, around in the field of sound healing. I've studied all the frequencies, I know them really well in detail. And no one ever agrees with anyone ever on the frequency of anything. There is no definitive science. That's why we set up our research foundation and we're actually now measuring it. And it's very difficult to measure because when you can actually say, oh, this frequency does this in a study, but did you test all other 20,000 frequencies? Yeah, no, because it's like to take forever, if not even counting the decimal points, then it's like infinite. And also the problem is you can measure the whole organ, you can measure the materials of the organ, you can measure the actual cellular level, you can measure the liquids, you can measure at the atomic level, you can measure the electromagnetic level frequency. You can measure the photon level of light frequency. Yeah, and you can measure the quantum level. If you're working on the heart, you can look at the frequency of love. No one is defining what level they're looking at. And when you find all frequencies of the organ, all of those I just mentioned, that's the cool thing. And that's where we're headed with the research, is to be able to find the actual frequency of any mechanism that actually creates the pain. And the mechanisms are different. The deal that we've learned scientifically, I learned this from actually having pain, is that nerves can only handle one piece of information. And when you fill them up with sound, there's no more room for the pain. So that's why the toning, any vowel, or crystal bowl, tuning forks, they all work regardless of the frequency because it's a stable, consistent vibration, right? So, but when we do the research and find the actual frequency, and we now have complete funding to do this over the next year and a year and two, to find the actual frequency of the nerve itself, which is different from person to person. You can't even say it's a certain frequency, but we can use an electron microscope and actually find your frequency of that nerve. And we're talking about getting rid of all pain by finding the frequency of all the mechanisms there are. That's where we're headed. A lot of this other stuff is kind of woo-woo, although the basis of it is really definitive. And that is stable, consistent vibrations will overcome chaotic vibrations of pain and heal it. Let me share with you the mechanisms. I've done a whole conference presentations on this, and let's see, here we go. We've done 17 international sound healing conferences, so I've interviewed everybody in the field about a lot of these different issues. So here's how I learned a lot of this from John Stuart Reed, who is very scientific. Okay, so the mechanisms for pain are different as to how it works. The first one is diversion. If you simply get focused on something else, whether it's meditation or nature or music, if you get focused on something else, the pain, you normally don't feel the pain. That's basic. However, with diversion, once you actually stop focusing on what you are focusing on, normally the pain comes back. It normally doesn't get rid of the pain through my experience. On the other hand, musical bliss can also get rid of pain. So we're not talking about diverting your attention, we're talking about getting bliss out. And that could be any sound healing instrument. It could be making love. It could be, archangels, ascended masters. It could be whatever to get you into a state of bliss, but especially with music. because it releases dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And those are like drugs that go straight to the pain and can not only get rid of it, but sometimes, not very often, but sometimes get rid of it for good. That's really cool. Now, peace, and a couple of people were talking about peace. Again, when you're in pain, you get stressed out. And when you're stressed out, the pain gets worse. God just is just a mess. You get stressed out and the pain gets worse. And this is really well known scientifically. So, as everybody's been saying, getting to a place of peace can stop that cycle. So, whether it's music, tuning forks, or just crystal bowls, or meditation, it's all really good. But again, it may not get rid of the core aspect of what's causing the pain. Vibrating the nerve endings is really the most effective, and putting actual sound right on the actual body. That's really the best. Now, it's interesting. So, years ago, I was getting out of the shower and I reached over to grab a towel. And I slipped and fell on the side of the actual tub and broke a rib. And oh my God, I started screaming. And I realized, holy moly, the pain is not, there's no pain as long as I scream. So I screamed for 3 hours. And finally, I was just tired of screaming. I couldn't do it anymore. But when I stopped screaming, by then the pain had gotten way much less. And I'm like, holy moly, this is cool. So then, a couple of years later, I was in the hospital for appendicitis. And the thing that was the worst was when they pulled the tape off the IV and it pulled my hair on my arm. That was the worst. So I screamed whenever they did that. And it was so cool. It totally worked because the pain only lasted 30, 15 seconds. But then the nurse comes in and goes, Dave, you're freaking the people out down the hallway. They think somebody's dying in here. And so they made me stop screaming. And then I realized, whoa, this is what happened. The doctor came in and the doctor said, you know why you don't feel pain when you scream? Is again because the nerve can only handle one piece of information. And if you fill the nerves up with sound, there's no more pain. And that's when I realized, oh my God, I can just tone any vowel. I can just create sound with my voice and do it as what you guys were just doing in the last presentation. It's excellent, but we're going to take it a little bit further in a little bit. Right? Now, there are no frequencies that are definitive for anything. The most definitive frequencies that are out there are from this guy, Peter Guy Manners, who actually got a lot of frequencies for different organs in World War II from the Germans, actually. They did horrible research, but really cool, good research, even though it's horrible, and got very specific frequencies. And then he did research with devices after that to actually find the frequency of different organs. And that's the most definitive frequencies for sound. There's other frequencies that are electromagnetic, like Rife frequencies, and now Anthony Holland's using frequencies on cancer and such, which are electromagnetic. And then there's also quantum frequencies as well. But sound frequencies, these are the most well researched, although still we've got a long ways to go. And so we've got CDs that are not music. These are actual frequencies for bones and digestion and endocrine glands, and each one of the CDs has 12 different frequencies for that specific part. And these are shockingly effective for pain. You can play them on the body with headphones. You don't listen to the headphones. You put the headphones on the pain. Tuning forks are cool, but it's hard to do tuning forks for more than 20 minutes or so. You can play these frequencies with the headphones on the body for like 2 hours if need be. I mean, I had, uh, uh, but also we have devices that are way better than headphones. We have sound pillows that we make that vibrate that you can put on the pain. It's really powerful. We also have a sound vest with 6 subwoofers that you can put on the body. Oh my God. It will change your life forever. And a little strap where you can put it right on the pain. If it's not too bad. If it's too bad, if you just had surgery or something, you don't want to put something right on it. You can put it around it, right? And these frequencies are shockingly effective. Although, again, I can't wait to get them really scientifically tested at all different levels of reality within the body for all different mechanisms. I had a guy that had whiplash, and he had pain on. He said he had pain on a scale of 7 to 9 for 2 years in his neck, and we put the strap on him with the muscle CD, because generally, even if the nerves are causing the pain, it's often the muscles that do the screaming. the muscles kind of, kick in and go, okay. I mean, I've got nerve damage in my neck here, and often I get muscle pain all the way down my arm, right? So so I often use the muscle one, although the nerve one's really effective. Anyway, we played the muscle CD on this guy for 15 minutes, and after 2 years of being on a level of 7 to 9, he was down to a 2. It's really shockingly effective to get physical vibration on the body for a long period of time. There's so many different types of pains. I mean, a lot of pain actually comes that is from just your body being worn out. When your adrenals get wiped out, then the liver kicks in and tries to help, right? Then the thyroid tries to help, and you can get chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. And now it's not a part of the body. It's like the system is worn out. That's a completely different mechanism for pain. Now what you want is really to get to a place of peace and stillness so that you feel relaxed, right? As opposed to getting it right on that part of the body. You can still put it right on that part of the body. But, I have to tell you this story. So, years ago, I was doing a workshop in Mount Shasta, and my friend that was helping, there was a fire. We had an actual fireplace, not a fire, a fireplace in the workshop. And she burned her finger. And she immediately put a tuning fork on it. And then, like an hour later, she burned her other finger. I didn't make fun. Right? She burned her other finger. She did not put a tuning fork on that one. The next day, the one she put the tuning fork on was healed, and the other one she didn't put it on was blistered. Right? This is another thing that I learned from a chiropractor that's really important. If you bump your knee or get a burn or anything, immediately get vibration on it. And that can be as simple as rubbing your arm. That's a vibration right there. Rubbing your arm. Rub it, rub it, rub it. And get a different frequency in there than the pain frequency. And what happens, it interrupts that process where after even 5 or 10 minutes, when you got a bump or a burn, your body goes, uh-oh, we gotta set off them arms. And it interrupts that whole process and can basically stop the pain unbelievably just by doing. I mean, if you got tuning forks, that's really cool. Or actually any vibration, any of the items that I just showed you, you can actually use those as well. But just rubbing your arm. Oh, the other thing is tone right on it if you can get to it with your mouth. Get right on it and go. Or if you can't get to the part, get someone else to get right on it with their voice. Put their lips right on it and go. Any vowel. Ooh is a really most powerful one. Right? That's so effective. We're on the way. We've got massive funding, all the money we need now to measure every nerve and every mechanism and find the actual frequency of that that part of the body and completely get rid of it. But where we're ultimately headed, and this is hard to even imagine yet, to actually find the frequencies that will heal the mechanism. Often it's a break in the nerve endings. Often it's a break in the nerve. There's all types of mechanisms, and we can actually ultimately find the frequency that will mend that break. That's down the line. That's where we're headed. The potential is massive. I bet you, with the research we're doing, we're going to be able to get rid of 90%, and I'm not kidding, 90% of all pain within maybe only 70 or 80, but that's pretty good, of all pain within a year now. Right? That's where we're headed. But as the previous presenter, Lisa, was talking about, there's some really cool things you can do with your voice. Let me give you even more detail. I had this woman in class who fell off of a roof and had horrible pain in her leg for 15 years. And we were working on releasing stuck emotions with the voice, making the sound of the stuck emotion. And we actually also did the sound of pain. And she did it on her pain that night herself again and came back in tears. She said after 15 years of pain, it was completely gone and it never came back. So to make the sound of the pain is a good beginning. The first thing you have to do when making sound is get over the fear of making sound. Right? It's like, as babies, we had it down. It's like if you had anything going on, including pain, as a baby, you went, ah, right? With zero thought of what anybody thought about you, whether you were making it right or were cool at all. And then around 1 or 2, it's like, shh. And we get in school and it's like, no more sound. And you go to work, no more sound except around here. And you lose that God-given ability to make sound. So let's do a little call and response just to open up your voice, okay? And then we're going to do the sound of the pain, okay? So we're going to get you comfortable making sound. This is, you had it down as a baby, okay? Okay, everybody do this. Sound. Make that sound back. Come on, go for it. Don't be afraid. Okay, okay. 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 Play. You gotta be able to play still. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. There you go. Cool. Excellent. Okay. Now, let me demonstrate. I broke out a windshield with my face when I was in high school. I've got chronic pain in my neck because I've got a torn nerve and vein. Here's the sound of that neck pain. I just play with it and see if I can find it. Okay. Okay. Tune into your pain and see if you can find a sound that matches it. Just play with it. You can't get it wrong. Just play with it. If it's too much for you, you can do it silently. That's a really cool one to play with. The body likes to be met. Yeah, it is fun. The body likes to be met and noticed, right? But here's one that's even better. This takes a little intuition, but the only thing that'll stop you is your belief system. Just believe you can do it, and it'll happen. Listen for the frequency of the part of the body that's got the pain before the pain was there. Just remember, go back to the time before that pain was there and listen for its frequency. Oh my God, this is so powerful for me. Okay, this is before my accident. Okay, if I went to my neck before the pain was there, it would be. Okay, again, just play with it. If you play with it over and over, you're going to get the frequency just right. But still, it's a stable, consistent vibration. You're doing a vowel, so it's still always good. But just like any tuning fork is good. But now you can get, as you practice, you'll find the actual frequency. Then it's really effective. Okay, listen for the frequency of that part of the body that's got the pain before it had the pain, and make it out loud. And send it to that part of the body. Send it to it energetically. Now, when you're in pain, it's hard to do toning and vowels for very long. When I was in the hospital, I couldn't do it for 1 minute. But you can do it silently. Here's the deal. You're going to breathe in, and on the out breath, imagine that frequency you just found and send it to that part of the body where the pain is. Let me demonstrate. You won't hear me, but I'm going to demonstrate anyway. And here's the frequency I just did to my neck on the out breath. Okay, breathe in and breathe out a frequency to that part of the body. Again, don't worry about getting it right. It's just a stable, consistent vibration anyway. It's a vowel. Okay. And again, and breathe out into that part of the body. Oh my God, it feels so good. One more time. Okay. Now, let's do the sound of love. Okay. First of all, send the sound of love. You can't do it wrong as long as you run love. Just run love. If you have to think you're a doggy, that's fine. Just think of a time, or just bring love into your heart now. And send love to everybody in the meeting here. And don't forget to receive it. Come on, do it out loud. At least run love, even if you're not doing it out loud. Now send that love to Source. Source knows exactly what frequency for the pain in the universal love. And listen for that universal love coming back, which is the best for pain. Send love to Source. Now, send love to the pain with the sound. You can do it silently too. Keep going. Stable, consistent vibrations are the definition of peace, and they overcome the chaos of all the wily emotions, including pain. Now, the best of all, and you guys did this a little while ago, but this is just so, so important. Send the sound of love to your own heart. Imagine all pain on the planet completely gone, including your own. What would that feel like? This is a really good one. What would it feel like to have the pain completely gone? Make the sound of how that would feel. There's when you do that, the body knows no different. Imagine it completely gone and feel what it would feel like. If you can do the sound of that, it makes it even stronger. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're at soundhealingcenter.com. You can find all of our vibroacoustics at soundloungecenter.com. Soundloungecenter.com. I'll put that in the chat. But you can find everything at soundhealingcenter.com.
David, you've been absolutely phenomenal. And I've put your soundhealingcenter.com web link in the chat because that's where the resources are. Because I found the file is insecure and it got blocked. So you've got plenty of resources on your website. So I've put that in the chat for people to follow up with you. And yes, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here and amazing information that you shared in the chat. Lots of people really loved it and are connected with you and the science that you've found and shared with everyone. So I thank you so much.